Well, how's it going, Kingsman? Welcome back to another Napoleon Total War battle. Today we are back in the Grand Battle mod, and I want to start by saying, guys, I am sorry that it's been a minute. I've been sick for a lot longer than I feel like is appropriate for someone of my age. I'm not sure what I got with the whole family, and yeah, I haven't been recording. I know it's been a while, but I appreciate you guys sticking around, not just ditching when I kind of ghost you all. I do appreciate the support still. And I'm back. I promise. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen again because life happens. But, like I said, we are back in the Grand Battle mod. This is a 3v3 with two French and, interestingly enough, a Prussia. A Prussia following along with the French. Look at that glorious, beautiful line. It kind of reminds me, I just watched War and Peace, the old Russian version. And this kind of gives me vibes from that movie. Man, that was such a good movie. All the battle scenes were just massive. And it was real people, which makes it just that much more glorious. But taking on the Imperials is going to be the British, Swedish, and Russian forces here. Now you can see there's a little bit of a skirmish here between the Prussians and the British. The British have a lot of skirms and sappers. Some sappers here engaging with some Prussian skirmishers. And, you know, obviously Prussia doesn't want to lose their skirms, but, you know, the British definitely have locked down this area. We'll see what, ooh, France actually getting some shots off here, maybe. Or, not shots off, but rushing forward some cavalry. Maybe they're going to go for a, snipe. It does look that way. I'm not going to be I'm not expecting these cavalry to win. That's a lot of skirmishers, and scout cav is mostly good for scouting only, and they're at 50% already. But yeah, they're gonna die. They're gonna die, unfortunately. But Prussia managed to get their skirmishers out of there. Obviously, we have the Prussians pushing through this town. This is La Rothiere, the historical battle map. Obviously, not the armies necessarily that were there. Now we do have Russia, who did some guerrilla deployment here. You can see they have sappers, probably some skirmishers that set up with these barricades. They have some scout cavalry as well. Most of the armies are pretty far away. British are the ones who may be a little bit closer here. We will see, though, what happens. The British are definitely going to be trying to hold on to this little chunk of land. But with the Prussians pushing in closer, the Prussians may actually make it there first. Now, looking at what the Prussians have, they do have some nice, good quality units here. They have, obviously, the Garde du Corps. They have some very good Ulanen. And then more and more infantry. And Prussia did get quite a lot of work done on them, so, you know, it's exciting to see them being brought. They have their adjutant marching with the infantry. Adjutants give a lot more field range. Generals in general do. No pun intended. Generals give a lot more, oh, what is Prussia doing? They're gonna die to those stakes. Prussia's not paying attention, unfortunately. Oh my gosh. Now they do charge in here, going in for some skirms. And then we have another dragoon that is going to go in for the sappers. We'll see how the British handle that. Now you can see we do have the Russians showing themselves on the field. Skirmishers, infantry, pouring in some shots. You have the French advancing. Now the French do have some Marines. They have Yena Guard. Then they just have a lot of Fusiliers and a lot of line infantry here. I believe also some Swiss. Okay, they have some Grenadiers as well. Artillery from the French up on the hill in a beautiful position. Pour and fire down on this position that Russia's holding. We can see here that the Prussians did lose one of their cav units. Another one still engaging. They have pushed up their 6-pounders, their horse artillery, hopefully defend them, as the UK do have, you know, some cavalry here. However, it's probably still hidden. Still, though, the UK are putting up a fight with what guerrilla troops they do have on the deployment. We cannot forget that there is a French reserve, which is not sure where they're pushing. Oh, wow. Look at this. All these battalions of, looks like, I don't know. I don't know what nationality these French troops would be. I'd guess like Polish or one of the German states. We do have Murat across the air unit. Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one. More Lancers. Oh, is that Polonaise? Yes, it is. So France definitely has a lot of cavalry, guys. Not a lot of artillery firing yet, but they do have some. It's going to be joined pretty soon by a 3-pounder, or 2 3-pounders. Not a lot of artillery. Okay, there's another 12-pounder over there. So they do actually have 4 guns total on the field. The French have a lot of troops. It does look like the Prussians have lost another cav unit. They do have their artillery set up, though. I'm assuming it's going to start trying to hammer that French or that British position. And looks like things are still setting up, guys. Now, there may be a little bit of a pause here, interlude, before this battle actually starts again. Looks like all sides are still forming up. So if anything, I may skip ahead to when the action starts, because obviously they're pretty far back. Start a little far back. They're probably right about here, so it'll be a couple more minutes and they'll be up. I'm starting to see Swedish skirmishers, so we'll see in a second here. And like I said, if nothing's happening, I'll just skip ahead to when stuff actually starts again. Alright, guys, we got the French advance on the Russian position. Pushing up skirmishers, pushing up line infantry. They have some scout hussars in the back of one of their lines. They also have their general or adjutant pushing forward with the reserve line. So France definitely committing to this attack. Hopefully they are not alone. What my concern would be is that the French ally doesn't push up with them, or Prussia sits back and doesn't do anything either. If I was this French, I'd be advising the Prussians to push with me. Like, hey man, start pushing on this right flank, or pushing the center here with me. Let's, you know, focus them with other French army and see what happens. Obviously, you know, Russia's still going to see what's happening over here with the UK. The UK maybe just holding this river crossing. However, if they're way here on the left all by themselves, it's a possibility that you could just have, you know, a focus on these 2 troops on the flank. It's going to be a tough position to attack, though. They're entrenched. These Fusilier companies are going to get shot up pretty quick here. And that's a nice position that the Russians have. But we'll see how it works out for this coalition. Nicely done. They're getting a nice flank. Obviously, you have the Swedish here on that right flank. Gonna have to watch out for them. France is getting real close. I would set up this line and just start shooting and then push that other flank, honestly, unless they plan on doing a bayonet charge, in which case they need cavalry, in my opinion, to push up. They have a nice little column of reinforcements here on this left, on their right side. Russia actually broke the British, and now the British are pushed out of the town. Prussia can start pushing forward here. Man, what are they doing? I'm really curious what France's plan is, unless they're going to try to use the earthworks on the other side and point blank the enemy. They haven't actually taken that many losses. I'm surprised with how close they are, but at least run your troops forward. Seconds, okay, they're doing it. It's like they heard me. I'm just kidding. Let's see how this works out. I'm kind of curious. They're point blank against each other. What's going to happen here? What's gonna happen? Fire? Here we go. This is very interesting. Oh, I mean, they got a nice flank. I approve of that. Even bayonet charging on the flank would be huge. You can see Sweden's pushing, or not really pushing, but holding the left flank here. Is pushing up troops on the right. France actually is not really taking a whole lot of losses. It does look like there's a bit of an engagement here in the trench system now. between the French and the Russians. Even some bayonet charges here by some Landwehr Swiss. The Swiss pushing forward. Sweden trying to defend the flanks. I don't know where Russia's main body is, but France is starting to win this assault. Russia hasn't really pushed forward too much, but France is definitely looking pretty good. Having taken the earthworks is going to be very, very good for them. They can have some shelter here in place. The Swiss Landwehr actually doing quite well against these sappers, considering that they're just Landwehr. France pushing forward here. Here is the Russians, though. They're in the center. The British are pushing forward here. Prussia is swinging around the flank, interestingly enough. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I guess if they tie up the UK, maybe that'll be beneficial. But I see this as being a problem, as Russia and Sweden are here, and I see one French army with, you know, a bit of more of the other French army still here. So, you know, to their credit, they're not actually all gone. So long as the other French army pushes up, then France can keep pushing with support. But Prussia's swinging around the far flank. I think that's going to be a huge disservice to their allies. Prussia should be pushing in right here. Actually joining up with the rest of this French line to defend as Russia's starting to push in. They're about to get a flank. And this is what I predict. Russia's going to push in here, start volleying this French line and break it. Obviously, if there's other French reinforcements pushing up, then it'll be totally fine here. France has taken the center, but, I mean, yeah, look at this, guys. Russia and Sweden pushing up here. There's only so much this France can do, and he's getting hit by a ton of artillery. I'm kind of concerned that this French army is not going to do too hot. Oh, what is Prussia doing? I mean, I just disagree with this. Prussia pushing on the far right flank. It's obvious the UK are over here, maybe have a small force there, but shifting your whole army to the right flank is just isolating your allies from you. Especially if you start looking at the map and the development here, it's obvious there's two armies here, plus some of the UK here. The UK just have to swing in here. They can hold the flank. Prussia doesn't have any troops here. They could push directly through here. I mean, thankfully France is pushing up to help reinforce, but they can honestly start pushing forward. But here we go. Yep, you can see they're taking heavy losses already against the Russia. It's like clockwork, super predictable. This France is being hung out to dry, unless he gets some help. And if the UK start pushing, which looks like they are pushing, and this Prussia is all the way over here, I just hope at least this back line, this should have maybe some units here, but the rest should be all the way over here. Imagine if Prussia was lined up here. They could meet this Russia, even stop them. Now, hopefully this artillery mass battery is going to fire into this Russians and stop them. Still, I guess we'll see. France is going to have some real problems here pretty soon with this advance. The flank of Russia and Sweden. Like I said, hopefully the artillery can help control the flank. Howitzers are going to start wreaking havoc on this line, just from the morale perspective here. Whatever position the French took is being made obsolete by the massive flank being thrown by the coalition. As you can see, more and more troops funneling this flank. Thankfully, we have a reinforcing French army, a lot of cavalry here, a lot of good cavalry here. They can start really throwing down with this flank of Russia and Sweden. But the UK are just, you can see they're pushing. And Prussia is just now starting to react to it, it seems. A little bit, but not a ton. This flank doesn't seem to be that important. I would leave maybe 5 units here with the artillery and then push the entire bulk of my army here. If you can attack right here, swing right into this British line, smack them around, and then go for the flank. Just ignore them and start pushing this flank. Start pushing on the French flank, because you can see the Russians are just going to start hacking apart this French flank. And the artillery is going to do some real work, which should help force back the Russians, but the Russians may stay their ground because they're starting to shred up this French line. They're about to break that unit. Now, France is not totally unable to deal with this. Obviously, they have a reinforcing army, and they're going to push, but I'm concerned about the fact, if you look up at this, the coalition's starting to really push here. They could surround these 2 French armies and destroy them without really having much of a threatening flank by Prussia. I mean, Prussia is starting to move troops, which is good, but they gotta like push them around this way just to threaten the flank. Now, we do have a French advance here. Hopefully, they will regain a little bit of control against that Russian attack. And obviously, the artillery could really hammer in on this side. I hope. Oh, we got cavalry advancing, though, from Russia. The UK are pushing into that open space, as predicted. We do have some heavy cavalry charging in. Where are they going to go? That is the question. Going straight for that French line. An excellent cav charge here. Artillery needs to watch out as they don't friendly fire this other unit. Oh, man. France is in trouble here, guys. They're getting charged. Multiple units. There's the morale drop. Russia, I think, is realizing now they are actually having to be worried about a flank here.
Our men are running, sir.
Over here, it does look like the Swedish charge in some cav on the French line. Wow, they actually, this line is breaking almost immediately to the Swedish after 1 or 2 volleys. Probably due to some canister and some better quality troops. It's like a lot better quality troops on the Swedish side versus the French. And I'm seeing the French break pretty quick here. They need to get some more troops and be able to outshoot this Swedish line in order to win that fight. Not sure where the sound went, but maybe there's too many units fighting on the field. We do have what looks like a charge maybe to go for the guns. I'm sure there's cavalry to defend that. Prussia is trying to form up here. The UK actually not want to ignore them, I'm assuming. But this line's looking pretty gnarly here. France is in a bad place here on this flank. Losing a lot of troops. France is gonna have to start pulling back here. Now, France could try pulling back quite a bit, actually. I mean, as long as they pull this flank back, reform their lines, I would reform it here. Draw the line here. Be in line with Prussia. Use your artillery. Don't let them keep flanking you, because this Russian push here on the flank is just going to prove disastrous in the long run. Like, you don't have to stand and make your fight in a one specific area. This fight's gonna be pretty indecisive for at least a little while. I'm surprised Prussia hasn't shifted more troops. I mean, they're not doing very much. I mean, there's not really even that much UK, and the UK are obviously not pushing. Might as well pull troops and help out in this line here. Now France is falling back. They have a lot of cavalry. Once these guys are tired, now that would be the time to send in the cav. Oh, you have Napoleon Bonaparte himself on the field trying to make his troops stand firm. Here we go. We got cavalry coming in. Hopefully this will help turn a little bit of the scales. Very hopeful. Impératrice. Let's see them work on the Russians. Very well done. Now they've got to run cav around, get around the flank, and hammer and anvil a little bit of this Russian force. Maybe at least give France an opportunity to reform. Let's see what they end up doing. It does look like we had a French attack here. Cavalry going for the artillery piece. Here we go. Oh, the UK are ignoring this Prussian army. That's not good at all. That is actually very bad. Oh, where are they going? Where are they going? What's France doing? Oh, is he going for the rear charge? Oh, man, we have so much cavalry going in here. But the flanking UK may actually cause a ton of problems.
Sir, and must rest a while.
Polonaise go in on the UK. France really trying to make a game-winning play here, charging cav on multiple units from Russia. And actually, this may be successful. So much cav behind the lines, this may turn into a mass rout. We will see. Actually, oh, the Impératrice not looking too good now. Russia has actually managed to stand firm. Let's see if France does a charge on another flank. Here we go, charging in from multiple sides. The British are stopped a little bit. Uh-oh, we got some UK cavalry coming in. Russia is starting to break, though, guys, on multiple flanks. This could be a very huge counterattack. Now, keep in mind, this is basically almost all the French cavalry. Some of the Russians still making their stand, though, and still holding on. Reinforcements are on the way. This may not be enough. All that work for so little. Yeah, the Prussians are getting chopped up here. It looks like against this UK line. They need to shift more reserves. The infantry are just sitting here. They need to be moving. Plug in this gap right here. Imagine if there's Prussians right here pushing in. Oh man, that'd be huge. Now the Russian line does break. France does get that. They do get that initial break, but obviously Russia has fresh troops to push in. So now it's France's one time to pull back. Let the artillery do some work. The rest of this line is holding together, and in fact does appear to actually have closed up those gaps in the line. But this persistent Russia and Sweden not going to make it easy for them. Alright, we got artillery that are probably going to get sniped by those Ulanen. We have actually a lot more UK over here than I thought. But if it's sitting back, let them make that mistake of just sitting back. These Fusiliers are going up against a highly... I mean, they're outnumbered. They're outnumbered by a lot. They shouldn't take this fight. I would fall back. Why take a fight where you're outnumbered? I mean, especially if you're losing over here. These guys are very tired right now. Here we go. Russia pushing forward with fresh troops. Sweden and Russia still pushing on the flank. France falling back yet again. But now these guns, guys, are going to definitely be in range, and they can definitely help. I would focus all fire on this field right here. And pull back your lines, which they are definitely doing. All the troops are very tired. They have a fresh line that's resting up, but still. Alright, we do have Prussia falling back. Now the UK are advancing, so now will be the time for Prussia. Uh-oh. Prussia's losing. I guarantee you there's some guard units here. And they are chopping up this Prussian line. And these guys are so tired, their morale is affecting how they're fighting. They need to fall back. Things are not looking too good for this Imperial line. Now, they do have some artillery, some 12-pounders in the line. These guys can start canistering the Russians. Maybe they'll make some real progress here. But Prussia's not holding too well. They need to switch out for fresh units at this point.
Our men are running, sir!
Artillery is really going to start carving up this flanking force. Hopefully they do some real work on them. That's the only thing that's going to save this French force from disaster. Ooh, just snipe those guns. Oh, snipe those guns. Please tell me they're sniping them. It's a perfect opportunity. Shooting. I'm not shooting for some reason. Yeah, Prussia's entirely folded on that left side. The rest of the troops are going to start falling back, but the UK is going to start really pushing here. Oh, they did canister them. You have cavalry running around the flank. Let's see what they end up doing. Murat charging it against Swedish Guard. Oh, they're running right in front of them. Better to do a head-on attack than a flanking attack. You gotta do it like right here and charge in, because you're going sideways. They're just gonna keep shooting. Gotta get a good charge. If you're on the flank, they're just gonna go on each side. Just not gonna work. This cav's getting shot in the back as well. It's not gonna work very well for them. Now, the UK are pretty battered up right here, so we'll see what actually ends up happening. Obviously, Prussia is gonna need to deal with the flank here. This French line's looking pretty thin here, and it looks like the coalition have quite a lot of troops left. Even Sweden seems to have brought a lot of troops, which is the trick here. Ooh, howitzers are going to start breaking troops here. Russia keeps shifting around this flank, guys. That's going to be the trick to winning this battle. I mean, they honestly don't have to do too much. They just got to keep pushing into the French army. French army is going to run low on troops. Their morale, their fatigue is going to keep going down the tubes. And it's Prussia. It's obvious if the UK just keep flanking, the Prussians don't really want to adjust their line. And some troops just kind of sitting here. I don't know if they even fought anything this whole time, but this line is being engaged a little bit. They're obviously readjusting it. Yeah, this French line has to readjust for the artillery. Now, this artillery is starting to do some real work here. You know, let's do. I'm gonna do a hole along the battlefield here. Look at this. Bit of an empty gap here. The Russians are starting to push up again. Ooh, we have a cav charge here. Oh, wow. France committing quite a lot here into this engagement. Going for multiple units here. Cav charge here does break.
Our men are running, sir.
And that's maybe the last of the French cavalry. Hopefully it did some damage here, but we do have a counter charge by the UK cavalry. Those guys are pretty tired. Yeah, you got to watch out for once they're 35 to 50 guys witnessing a retreat. See the morale debuff here. The artillery is probably going to be next. Either that or the S-adjutant's going to die. Probably not a good call on this UK cav. Being behind enemy lines actually will make things worse, but that may actually stop these guys dead in their tracks. They're going to break against this massive Russian unit anyway. Because it looks like everywhere, guys, the French are just struggling. Probably now's the time for canister. As the coalition is pushing up here, the Prussians are getting surrounded. Still haven't adjusted their line. These 4 units are still sitting here while they're getting flanked and almost attacked in the rear. Either attack with this main force or do something with these guys.
Our men are running, sir.
Hoping to see some canister. But we may not see canister today. I think this, I mean, we're going to see at the end what the results are, but I think this came down to, I think it came down to a numbers game. I'm going to guess the French Imperial Coalition, or the French Alliance, did not bring as many troops as the Coalition. But we'll see. In the long run, we'll see. But I suspect the Coalition brought more troops. Which may be what happened here, and maybe not, maybe just the quality of troops, but we'll see. We'll see in a second. That may be a huge clue as to how this battle went. All right, we have Prussia advancing here. Oh man, there's a flanking UK pushing up now. And in my opinion, and not saying that Prussia shouldn't play or anything, I'm not saying that, please, you're the Prussia player, I'm not smack talking, but I do think that Prussia was a little too passive, too near the end, and quite honestly, they could have ignored the UK probably. Had a couple troops and then pushed over and helped out. And even if they UK advance, you can delay them, lose a bit of your army to help out, especially in the center where it was obvious that Russia pushed really hard. France was losing and unable to react to it. If Prussia had pushed some troops here, just held, or even just threatened the Russian flank pushing, it probably would have helped a ton in this fight. Prussia kind of just sat here on the flank, kind of did a little spat with the UK, and then lost to the UK line. I think the UK could have been delayed. They seemed kind of content to sit on their side of the river for at least quite a while. That's just my 2 cents. Obviously, you're not there. You never know truly, you know, what could have happened. It's like backseat driving, you know?
Our men are running, sir!
You can pretend that you know best when you haven't been playing the battle. But that's just my 2 cents based on what I've played and what I've seen. But, you know, that aside, still a hard fight. Especially France. I loved the aggressive play by France. Definitely approve of attacking the town. I would have done the same thing. But then, of course, you know, once you get in 2v1 for a little while, until part of France showed up. The other France did help out as best they could. I mean, you see Russia just has so many troops.
Our men are running, sir!
So many lines of massive infantry. And I truly am a big believer in infantry to rule the battlefield, guys. You have the lines to throw forward, even if some of them break, you can take on anybody. Quality and quantity are excellent things to have. And Sweden brought a lot of infantry, it does look like. Not as much cavalry, and that's totally acceptable, I think. I would do the same. It looks like the last defense of France here. Russia's pushing up. Sweden has almost defeated this French defensive line that's left.
Ils sont maintenant à portée de nos fusils, monsieur. Our men are running, sir! Our men are running, sir!
Looks like Prussia's almost dead on this flank against the UK. Guess we'll see this last defense here. Like I said, it's gonna hit the fast forward button here. You know, it's kind of running low here. The morale's starting to run kind of low here. Hopefully Sweden just flanks in and, you know, ends France's misery, as it were.
Our men are running, sir.
At a certain point, you know, you play a game, you're just like, yeah, let's just end it. And I'm sure Prussia's kind of in the same boat here. They're just getting absolutely toasted. But
our men are running, sir.
Yeah, this battle's basically over. In fact, I made us fast forward to the end results, guys, just to show you. Like I said, there's only 1 or 2 units left. Looks like an adjutant's hanging out in this circle or this square.
Our men are running, sir.
Formed. Yeah, everybody's. I think if anything, they're running their adjutants off. Maybe. That's what I've been doing. That's the nice thing about this game. You can just retreat your adjutant and not have to run all the way out of troops. But I'm gonna just rush to the very end, guys, and look at the results of this battle. All right, guys. So there are the results. We can see here definitely a lot more troops on the coalition versus the Imperial. We have 33, 33, and 36 versus 36, 36, 39. Yeah, that's that's a significant number of coalition versus Imperial. I think that did a lot to break up that line. But you can see the results here. You have 1528, 1397, or 95, and 1116 for the French side. Then 15, 16, 17 for the Imperial side for Sweden, the UK, and Russia. Yeah, actually, the Prussians had the largest army, considering, you know, unfortunately, maybe hung out a little bit longer. Now, maybe they're just, it's a lot of troops to manage. You know, it's a lot of troops to manage. I mean, this is about 11,000 odd troops for the, you know, coalition versus probably 8,000 or something like that for the Imperial side. Of what is that like? That's about maybe 10,000 to 11,000, I guess. I guess not a significant amount, but still enough to obviously matter in this battle. But a victory for the coalition. But anyway, guys, that will be the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'll be getting back into these guys now that I'm feeling a lot better. And until next time, you guys stay safe, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in another video.